Welcome to week 8. Constitutional design is the subject for this week. Constitutions are an important but not essential feature of regimes based on limited government and rule of law. Constitutional principles are like the rules of the game, and they reflect a kind of principles that aren't subject to on-the-fly changes. For example, the U.S. Constitution has principles enumerating certain powers to Congress and other powers to the president. And the idea of this separation of powers is pretty clearly articulated. Presidents can't legislate, and Congress can't execute laws. I'll use a football comparison to show what constitutions mean to a governing regime. With football, the dimensions of the field, how many points a team is awarded for a touchdown or a field goal, or how many players a team can have on the field at any one time, those are the basic rules. Now, how tightly referees will reinforce rules governing offensive holding or defensive pass interference is an important question for how well the game is officiated and how fair the game is. But officials don't have any latitude on how many points are awarded for a touchdown. And teams don't have any latitude on the dimensions of the playing field, right? So what kind of regime does a constitution create? One issue is whether to create a unitary or a federal system of government. While France and the United Kingdom both have unitary or relatively unitary systems of government, the United States, Germany, and Russia are federal republics and have federal systems of government. What are the reasons why a unified system of government works for France, but probably wouldn't work that well for the United States? Why is that? What features of these countries' political culture recommend a federal system versus a unified system, a unitary system of government? The question of judicial review as a constitutional principle is to me a very interesting topic. Most Americans just naturally assume that you have to have judicial review, but that's not the case. A lot of countries have followed the United States in creating Supreme Courts that have the authority to strike down actions of that the court judges to be repugnant to a country's constitution, but some don't. The United Kingdom is one country where they don't have a formal process of judicial review. Its House of Commons basically enjoys parliamentary sovereignty, which effectively means that acts of parliament are not subject to judicial review. What do we think about that? I know as Americans we're like, but it may be that somehow the Brits make it work. Our country to profile this week is Germany, whose constitution strikes me as a good country to profile this week. Germany's status as a late state, not unifying until 1871, its loss in World War I and subsequent failure of the Weimar Constitution, leading to the establishment of Nazi totalitarianism, its second defeat in a world war, and the reestablishment of a new constitution for West Germany, the subsequent reunification of East and Western Germany after the end of the Cold War. I think that there's a lot to discuss as it relates to the logic of Germany's constitutional design and how it differs from our own. This week we just have the 2 weekly assignments, the form and the quiz. I want to alert you that we have our next written country profile due in week 9 on an African country of your selection. I don't think it would be imprudent on your part to start looking at prospective countries to profile. All right, let's have a great week.